Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Doughty of The Steve Doughty Show. I was once a talk show host on an AM broadcast station. I am quietly retired. I rather enjoy my retirement. It gives me time to do those things that I want to do. Now, we just had an election, a monumental election, where the American people said in one loud voice, hell no. No more. And we have managed to re-elect what, in my opinion, is one of the best presidents of the 21st century. In fact, at one point, I was comparing Donald Trump to Theodore Roosevelt. He may actually be a better president than that. He may be Abraham Lincoln. Okay? He's done so much for the black community in his life. Look at the last time he was president. Black people that were in prison on drug charges that he had pardoned, gave them the opportunity to rebuild their lives. The opportunity zones in black communities, which allowed black people to go forward and to make lives and build fortunes for themselves. All of that came to an end under Joe Biden. Joe Biden has been a racist all of his life. Joe Biden, who famously called young black men predators. This is 1994. His crime bill, which essentially put more black people in prison than any other act in the history of this country. He talks about Jim Crow. He's well acquainted with Jim Crow. But now we have a whole nother problem. We have brainwashed, utterly confused liberals. Guys like Alec Baldwin. Okay? We are uneducated. Sharon Stone. Well, 80% of Americans don't have passports. They're uneducated. They're juvenile. I myself don't have a passport. I don't have a passport because I don't care to travel. There's nowhere I really want to go. I want to travel. I got 50 states to travel. And there are some of those states that I wouldn't waste my time to travel to. They're crime-ridden, they're filthy, they're run by liberal idiots who run them into the ground. I'm a native of the city of San Francisco. I can trace my family back almost 200 years in that city. I left there almost 13 years ago because I could see what a mess it was turning into. We have women going nuts. I'm going to shave my head and divorce my husband and hysteria over nothing. Donald Trump hasn't said he's going to ban abortion. And it wasn't Donald Trump's fault that the Supreme Court did what they did. It was the liberals' fault. In 1973, the Supreme Court gave us Roe v. Wade, and I, for one, supported the holding of Roe v. Wade. But the liberals kept going to the courts, pushing for more and more and more. Well, it is true Donald Trump did change the complexion of the Supreme Court. But it was the liberal that went back to the court pushing for more. The court is not proactive, it is reactive. It will not do a thing until you bring them a case. Okay? So when the liberals scream about, well, Donald Trump is taking abortion, no, it was the liberals that killed abortion. That is something that must be realized and remembered every single day. Liberalism is a mental disease. It has to be. It's based on lies. It's like a cult. They will believe anything they're told. Do you remember in 2014 when President Obama came out and told us that the police were gunning black men down in the street? The liberal media ran with that. It took race relations in this country and almost overnight destroyed them. And the fact of the matter is, if you go to the FBI Uniform Crime Report and you do the research, you'll find out that yes, police shot and killed at least 1,000 people that year. In fact, actually, that was about their average for about a decade. But research a little further, and you'll find that less than 30 of those victims of their own stupidity were black. Very few were Hispanic. Maybe 1 or 2% of that 1,000 were Asian. The vast majority of the people who were gunned down by police were Caucasian. It's a fact. Look it up. FBI UniformCrimeReport.gov. And you can get all kinds of crime information going back to 1933. So, when you are liberal and you listen to liberals, you're being brainwashed, you're being lied to. What Obama did was a Marxist trick, okay? If you ever had the misfortune of reading Marx, as I did, you understand that Marx wanted to divide people by class. That's how he started the revolution against Russia, okay? Here in America, Obama wanted to divide people by race. And that started a whole race war in this country. BLM, the hatred of white people, on and on and on. People like Joy Reid, someone should glue her mouth shut. She is the worst kind of racist there is. She attacks the white person constantly. We cannot be Americans if we are constantly attacking one another. We are Americans, black, white, brown, yellow, whatever color you may happen to be. If you're in this country, you believe in the fundamentals of this country, you are an American. And at that juncture, you are my brothers and sisters. That's something I firmly believe. There is no distinction of black, white, brown, whatever, as long as we all are Americans and we all of us, adhere to the founding fathers and the principles that made this country great. Capitalism is not the disease. Communism is not the cure. Communism is a disaster. Read some history. Find out what communism has done for the people that have suffered through it. This whole woke thing and canceling people, very reminiscent of Mao's Cultural Revolution in China, which ushered in communism. Think about these things, ladies and gentlemen. Understand these things. Teach your children. Break out books that are hard to read because of the subject matter, and educate them on what communism is, what socialism is, and what damage it does to countries who have involved themselves. Anyway, with that, hopefully you like this video. I would appreciate it. Hopefully you subscribe to this video. I would appreciate that. I'm going to try to make more videos. I am very excited that Donald Trump is back in office, and I'm going to make a prediction. June, we will see gas prices under $3 a gallon. Once gas prices come down, prices of food will come down. Prices of clothing will come down. Prices of everything that have to be shipped will come down. The reason for that is when fuel and energy are cheap, transporting goods to retailers becomes cheaper, and the retailer then passes that saving on to the consumer. Tariffs? Wow. Those go back to Alexander Hamilton. That's how this country once made its money, was through tariffs. The income tax thing, which is really fairly new in the scheme of things, was put in place by a Democrat, Woodrow Wilson. And it was supposed to be temporary, to pay for World War I. That's a long time ago, and we still have income tax. Well, Donald Trump's plan with tariffs is to generate money to A, pay down this ridiculous debt that Joe Biden and the Democrats have run up, and B, to lessen our need to pay income tax. Remember, when George W. Bush left office, the debt in this country was $6 trillion. When Barack Obama left his office, the debt in this country was $18 trillion. Who's wasting money? Who has run us into debt? When Donald Trump left office, the debt in this country was about 25 trillion. As Joe Biden leaves office, we're $35 trillion in debt. Who has run up the deficit in this country, and why? You want to destroy a country? Bankrupt it. Make it so it can't afford to defend itself should something bad happen. And now he has taken steps to make sure something bad will happen. Anyway, I bid you good night, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you find this informative. Bye-bye.